I'm going to finish off this live stream this season by just speaking about the season and neutrally just my opinions, emotions, and just how honestly things change going forward, hopefully. And yeah, it's kind of hard to put it into words firstly, but I must speak about the start of the season. There were plans to go ahead with again, 2 tiers if possible, and certainly with admins and just more organisation in the league. And yeah, it was obviously every season is meant to be the biggest season yet, that sort of thing, you know. That's always the aim, that's always the goal, to strive and improve. But yeah, firstly, just trying to remember the order of events. Obviously, time trials were released the first time, and I was like, yeah, hi guys, you know, and put it on the Instagram, Twitter, in the Discord as well. You know, sign-ups are out. Come and do the time trials, and yeah, that should help with tier placements for the start of the game. But obviously, there was a glitch found, which that people were exploiting the replay bug, where you could hop into instant replay, stuff like that, and gain speed by fast forwarding, things like that. So, I put them off for a bit to see if there'd be an immediate fix. But at the same time, it allowed a different sort of approach in the way of, hopefully, a couple of, what's it called? Evaluation races, like what TSRL had, and yeah, I thought that would be also a great idea for the league. But obviously, you got to point out the context here. The first time trials sign-ups didn't really, you know, it wasn't really picking up as much. But usually with time trials, most people save them to the end, try and improve, and you know, just not have to worry about it as much until it comes to the last days. It wasn't really near the deadline, but then obviously when the second sign-ups came around, there were no time trials, none of that business. So surely, in theory, people would do it straight away. You know, they wouldn't have to worry about getting on Xbox, doing laps for time trials until there was an actual race. And well, that, you know, that didn't go to plan either. If I remember correctly, I'm just gonna try and find, you know, a message, kind of evidence maybe on how many sign-ups there actually were. I don't know where they are. Oh wow, yeah. I'm also just looking through this when admin chat was actually used when it was needed. Yeah, yeah, that happened as well. But there were only, like, in the teens for sign-ups. That wasn't even enough to fill one tier. Actually, it might have been 20 to 22. I really can't remember. This was like 4 months ago now. So sorry if things aren't really coming into my head properly. It just kind of highlights that nothing was really that memorable, but you know, it happens. But yeah, I had to create the full tier and plan reserves of people that want to be reserves. You know, it couldn't really quite fit one tier, yet alone in the plans to have two again for the third season. But yeah, another problem as well was that just some behaviour of the admins at the time. You know, it was a pretty stressful period. Yes, I might have reacted badly, but ultimately it was necessary. It was really necessary to have that, changed and rectified. It was probably in a nice way as well. All I did was just remove an admin role. I explained this at the time, but like, it was just a simple press of a button to remove your powers as an administrator of the server. I didn't kick anyone. I didn't, exploit anyone, expose. Didn't take it to any levels of severity. But yeah, that happened, and then we really started to get the season going in early September. After pre-season, it was a very worrying pre-season. I only really had that to kind of replace the evaluation races and have like a proper pre-season start. Yeah, that wasn't very popular. You had a very, very poor turn up to pre-season, but as I think anyone expects, it's going to be better in round one. And in all fairness, it was kind of positive to see 15 drivers, and again, the possibility of building that up throughout the season. So, yeah. Round one was decent, to be fair. It was quite a dramatic ending. It was something that kept me going, really, and it was the fuel that I kind of needed for the rest of the season to keep this going. I've been solo commentating all season, so basically, yeah, anything that's in the slightest way positive in races is always a big boost. But what I was gonna say really is then it gets to round two, and that was, wow, I've got to actually find what that was. It was. Yeah, so that was Bahrain, and yeah, certainly wasn't a brilliant event. Little bit dirty, a little bit worrying in that sense. That first race was kind of clean, but there were still elements of dirty driving. There were only 7 finishes, I think. Yeah, 7 finishes, and yeah, it was evidently taking a turn for the worse. Some of the drivers that made it in race 1 didn't in race 2, and this continued throughout the season. Basically, more and more people just put it off their minds, didn't want to race, didn't want to communicate, and anything they did was negative. It was seriously negative, or anyone that actually wanted to race was just, using it as practice. And I fully respect that. People wanted to get better, using, this league as part of a way to improve, things like that. But yeah, it's not always a good look when random people just start, wanting to come and race for practice, or putting it off and then racing again when they practice. There's so many different factors in this season that just kind of make me go, is this really worth it? There was a point in the season where I felt like things were improving again, and in my opinion it has. Kind of what's it called? The target we're reaching is just that little bit greater. The attendance is building back up, and I think the rules across other leagues, and especially when there was actually proper rules meant to be in place for this league, it's really set. It's a decent environment to come and race, and yeah, that's a nice approach. That's a nice target, and I can only hope that continues developing. But maybe that run of momentum is kind of over now that the season's over. Even something I'm struggling with is just times, getting a good time for people to come and race, more people to come and race, especially as well, that Wednesday 6 o'clock isn't really working anymore. It's a weekday. People kind of put themselves in, well, I say put themselves, that's a really bad way to put it. People are racing now in the many, many TSRL and WOR tiers for this season. League racing has really picked up on like the weekdays at this time, and it's just, yeah, generally people have left due to the times, and yeah, disappointing in a way. Not much I could do. I picked this time, and you have to compete. Many other leagues run at the same time, and you just don't realise it. But yeah, that happened, and that is going to need a swift change going into 2021 if the league does continue. But yeah, my opinions were kind of there. Honestly, I'm really, really, truly grateful for those who have stuck around, tried to get themselves into every race, and just race as hard as they possibly can. It really, really does mean a lot, especially in not only the tough times of the world, but the tough times of the league. And yeah, every single member that wants to do that for me is making a positive effect, and they perhaps don't realise that either. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave this here. That I'm not sure what I have or haven't mentioned, to be honest. Like I said, okay, yeah, obviously the social race is coming up. That is still, I'm sorry, but it's going to have to be a doubt now, because basically competing, it's not a competition, but we've got to compete for these things to try and make it stand out. So it's going to be a doubt for the date and time that I set, but hopefully people, now that the season is over, maybe want to come and take part in this, and I'd really appreciate if you could follow social medias, etc. I'll try to get back on the Twitter soon as well. But yeah, I hope everyone has a very, very lovely Christmas and a fantastic New Year. If I don't, get to speak to you guys in the server or anything, do take care. Thank you for all the support that you've offered through the season. Yeah, our champions, Sam Cole and Ferrari, very well done to them. And yeah, nearly an hour and a half on today's stream. All the season 3 races are available on the YouTube. Do subscribe, and yeah, see you hopefully in season 4. Thank you, goodbye.